Vols are back.
Yeah, they had us the first half, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, could be Wayne!
I think I got my swagger back. Oh!
I love it, baby!
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins! By Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch.
Ball hit high in the air into right field. Going back is Sayre, and Tennessee can say hello, win column. A grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. You can't draw it up any better.
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now. I made up my mind. I don't expect to ever look back. I'm going to stay at the University of Tennessee.
Reddit did too, and welcome into More Important Issues. It is Thursday, September 8th. It is another game week. It is football's back. I love that we get to say that 3 times, really 4 times if you're an EPL fan. Shout out. It's just shout out the right word. Landon's not in mourning. He doesn't respect the monarchy. I've got my black on. Rip Queen Elizabeth. I almost gave her a shout out. I don't know if that's appropriate. But yeah, it's an exciting week with another college football week. NFL is kicking off here in less than 15 minutes. It is, oh man, it's so good. It's so good. It's the right time of year.
I'm going to say it's back every week.
That's fair. I mean, you're not wrong.
So
I feel like here's my problem. I feel like once we get Maction, midweek Maction, I feel like you can't say it anymore. I feel like that's the last time.
Okay, that's fair. Tennessee's not playing Maction Thursdays anymore. They're done for the season.
More than that was the last one. We did get in on some action, as Landon pointed out, in week 1. It's a big weekend for Tennessee. Big weekend for ACC, SEC. That's it. Listen, there's a few exciting games. I don't think it's as good as the week 1 slate, but I've got a few marked that could be some fun ones to watch, especially late night games. That'll make, I think, the Saturday exciting. Listen, we've got some more news that we need to drop on you guys. And good news is we're gonna have some. It's kind of like football. We get to say good news a couple more times. We're just gonna hit y'all with the preliminary announcement. We are joining another network. We're excited about this one. Our great guy Ingram over with the Nolecast. Excited to work with him. And a bunch of other great podcasts and be a part of the Big Game College Football Network, presented by the Big Ad Group. More coming there, but we're going to be on your airwaves way more often. I'm so sorry you have to hear the sound of my voice, but we're excited for this opportunity. Like I said, we'll bring you guys some more information as that network rolls out, but we are excited about this opportunity, excited for people all across the Southeast to get to listen about Tennessee. So we're pumped for this opportunity and pumped to join some other great podcasts in this network and talk some more football. Why not?
Yeah, and you kind of apologize for it. It's kind of their fault that we're in this position because they listen to the show. So, you did this. This is your fault.
Yes, absolutely. We appreciate your support in the sentiment of that joke, though.
Yeah,
we do appreciate your support.
Do appreciate it. Also, if you have any questions or anything you want to drop in the chat, please do that. We'll gladly get to those throughout the show. Man, let's talk some Pitt.
Let's get right into it. I want to jump right into it. It is Pitt week. Tennessee traveling up to, we're always going to call it Heinz Field. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is.
And mostly because we can't pronounce the other one. Okay.
Yeah. When I looked at it, I can't remember it off the top of my head. It looks a lot easier than the first time I said it.
Yeah.
But I can't remember it off the top of my head. But yes, bring your hunts this weekend to Pittsburgh. It's going to be a good one. The Johnny Majors Classic. Let me get your first take. Icy Whites. We wanted orange pants, right? That's the first take, right?
We wanted orange pants. But here's the thing.
Just win.
You played. Yeah, you just win, number one. But you played pretty well in those Icy Whites last year.
I think I saw that we didn't play well in them. Is that true?
We beat Missouri. That's the only. I know we played in the bowl. I think we played in the bowl game with them, so that kind of takes away my point. But we played great against Missouri in them. So the first game wearing them was against Missouri. First game wearing them this year. We run Pitt out of Heinz Field or whatever, crappy stadium that is. Here's the thing, like even if we have young guys playing in this game, it is on the road and it is a little different. But man, you played in front of 80 plus.
Yeah, it was a great.
There's no more than 60 going to be in that Pitt stadium, so
Yeah.
it shouldn't be anything for you.
No, it was a great environment on Thursday, like you mentioned, and there's really not that many young guys. There's not guys that haven't at least seen the field at some point. I don't know the exact number, but I would guess there's a lot of guys that have traveled. Whether they've played a lot on the road, they've traveled, been on part of that roster. So that's good that it's not a terribly young roster. We're not going to get the Butch Jones excuse of guys not being on airplanes or anything like that. That won't hit. Hopefully never, but especially this week. What I like about this game, and I know I think it's just like the football guy in me. Listen, I'm a football guy. I think it's going to be a great game. I don't think Tennessee's going to run anybody out of the stadium. I don't think Pitt's going to run anybody out of the stadium. I think you're going to have a good old-fashioned slugfest, not a defensive one, maybe from Pitt's side, but I think it's going to be a good battle. I think 6.5, you just net public money. I think it's a little bit tighter than that. I think it got up to like 7.5 at one point, just where everybody was betting on Tennessee. I think that first starting line, 3.5, is probably about where this game ends up. And man, I like the over. I like the over because Pitt knows they're gonna have to keep up with Tennessee. 30 points is probably where this is probably the minimum that could win this game.
No, I totally agree. Yeah, both defenses kind of struggled. I was told kind of all off season that Pitt has a great front seven, and
they return a lot.
And I just wasn't 31 to West Virginia. I know they have JT Daniels at quarterback, but that wasn't what I was expecting. If you're giving up 31 to West Virginia, Tennessee gets in the 40s easily.
I would think so.
Can they keep Pitt out of the 40s is what I'm most interested in seeing.
Yeah, I think what's interesting about this matchup is I think the two sides of the ball, it's not like two great offenses going against each other or two great defenses going against each other. It feels like when the coach says, one-on-one or one's on best in practice, let's get up. It feels like that. There's no doubt in your mind that Pitt's best unit is their defense. There's no denying that. They return Baldonado, who has led the SEC or ACC, in sacks, I believe, tackles for a loss. And then they've got a great linebacker in Cansey. So I think there's it's best on best. That's truly what it is. You talk about, can Tennessee keep Pitt out of the end zone? I mean, yeah, I think that's a good question, but I think it's going to be on Pitt's defense is the most important. That's the most important part of this. I think it's going to be a lot like last year. They got to Hendon Hooker / Joe Milton 5 times last year. Can the offensive line take care of business against a good Pitt front seven? You mentioned it. Yeah. Here's the thing. It's what I'll say about just about everybody. I'll say about LSU as much as I hate Brian Kelly. You told me you're going to lead off with some Brian Kelly hate. It's week 1. I'm not putting the entire season on week 1. It tells a little bit of a story, but it doesn't tell the whole thing.
Yeah, but what an impression he made for his very first game.
Well, he's an idiot, though, too.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get into that when we get to college football. But, yeah, like talking about Pitt's defense, last year, I mean, we're talking about big plays and stuff like that, and you're thinking more of kind of throwing it over the yard. I think Tennessee's going to have their opportunities throwing it deep because Pat Narduzzi loves to play press man. But, my kind of rebuttal to that is, do you really want Brew McCoy and Cedric Tillman, 2 guys that are pretty physical? You want people up in their grill where they can just run right by them?
Yeah, I agree, but I also think that's why it puts it even more on this Tennessee offensive line. It's going to be about giving Hendon Hooker time. It's going to be about Hendon Hooker being able to step up in the pocket or move out of the pocket and make plays. I agree that Tennessee's going to have their opportunities because of what you just said, yes. But it's going to be about it. It's a battle in the trenches, especially offensively.
Yeah, and that was one thing I just wasn't impressed with Pitt. And I know, like, we're talking about the big plays and stuff like that, but West Virginia, who is not a great running team historically, ran 5.6 yards per carry. And Tennessee had around that last season. their quarterbacks rush for over 100 yards. So I think Hendon Hooker in the run game is going to be big. I think Jabari Small, like you said, that offensive line, that left tackle position especially. But I like Tennessee. I think Tennessee's offense is going to score and score a lot. Can their defense keep Pitt from scoring a lot? I think is the biggest question, and I'm not worried about the offense. I think it's going to take care of itself. If they want to, play press man, I think Tennessee's going to have opportunities to, throw it over the top, hit on the deep balls, which Hendon Hooker is good at. They have 2 wide receivers that are capable of going up and getting it, and again, it's one thing to play press man, but when you have a guy that's 6'3" can go up and get the football, even though he's covered up, he's open.
Yeah, yes, and he's so good at for the lack of a better term, it might be the best term, mossing guys. And he can play really well with the ball in the air. You mentioned that West Virginia was able to run the ball real well. One thing that I think is kind of interesting for Tennessee's offense, and this is my question.
They rushed for 190 yards on the ground.
Yeah, but my biggest question isn't about can Tennessee's offense produce. I think it's also about, and I think this is a question moving forward, is can Tennessee's offense kind of stay ahead and not hurt your defense? Not no three and outs. That's asking a lot, but less 3 and outs than we saw last year. I don't know how many we had against Pitt, but as far as season total, because they did have 8 tackles for a loss, Pitt did. So you don't want to get behind in the chains. That means your defense is getting back out on the field quick because you're snapping the ball and what is it, under 14 seconds almost every time. That's a quick turnaround if you aren't moving the chains. So it's not a question, and for me, if Tennessee's offense will get in the end zone, it's can Tennessee's offense either one, stay on the field a little bit longer, or maybe a combination of both. 2, can they go score? Because if that defense is turning over, I like Pitt and Caden Slovis's chances of scoring better.
Yeah, and you mentioned them scoring. Rodney Hammond is expected to probably be out. I think he's questionable right now. He had 120 yards from scrimmage against that West Virginia team. He's their top back. So, I know the line kind of opened up at 3.5, but I'm wondering if Vegas kind of knows, who's going to be in there and who's not. And that's why that line's kind of shifted a little bit.
I think it's more public money. Everyone's high on Tennessee, and I don't blame them just for the simple fact of I do agree with you that Tennessee's offense is going to score. I don't think there's any denying that. It's can Caden Slovis keep up and the Pitt offense. You mentioned on the ground. They were only able to put 76 yards of offense on the ground together. And yeah, West Virginia had 5 sacks. It was only for 20 yards.
Which is still pretty surprising to me because we heard, they return everybody up front. So
yeah. I just mean that didn't affect their ground total. That's all I mean, though.
Oh, yeah.
It's just 20 yards.
The 5 sacks is
JT Daniels was sacked for 23 yards, and they still rushed for 190. So it's like that didn't affect their ground total. They like you said, Rodney Hammond rushed for 74 yards. I mean, that was pretty much all of it. So yeah, I don't know. I hate that. I like that they played West Virginia to begin with, just to kind of
you kind of got a feel
get
for
beat up a little bit. Yeah,
and whereas I don't think you got a huge feel for Tennessee.
Yeah, but I honestly, as an opposing fan and someone who tries my best to stay level-headed, I would almost rather see Pitt beat the crap out of someone like Ball State, like Tennessee did, and then just kind of have a toss-up. Now I'm like, well, they've played. I know West Virginia's not a great Power 5 team. They do probably have a better feel for kind of what's gonna work, what's not gonna work going into the game. Where Tennessee's still very much scouting and probably still going to do some stuff. And I mean, hey, that's when you find out kind of how good of a coach you are. Stuff doesn't work, you go away from it. Stuff works, you stay on it. It's just one of those things. I like better, in the grand scheme of things, I like better that they had to open up with West Virginia. Honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
That's my con to it, though.
They're dealing with some. Alexander's another guy that's injured. I don't think he played in the West Virginia game. He had 5 tackles. I think a couple tackles for loss against Tennessee last season. So, that's a guy that they like to have along that defensive front. But, I just and going back to last year, Tennessee was Hendon Hooker didn't start that game. Tennessee lost a turnover battle. They had 3 turnovers, didn't cause a single one from Pitt. Cedric Tillman had 1 catch.
Wasn't that 2 of Hendon Hooker's interceptions as well? Or you just have one in the game?
He just had 1.
He just had 1? Okay.
Yeah, the other 2 were fumbles. And I think one of him, I think he did fumble.
Okay. And I'm actually pulling those stats up right now because I am curious to see if you go look at the West Virginia game, Pitt did a really good job of spreading the ball around. Now, is that because they kind of had to, or is it just West Virginia gave it to them? Because they lost Jordan Addison to the USC.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, he was their best receiver. He was Kenny Pickett's number 1 target, which is a huge loss. I don't know how many he had against Tennessee. I'm going to guess a lot, and I'm trying to pull that up.
I think he had 6 catches. He had a touchdown against Tennessee.
Yeah.
Like 50-something yards, 60-something yards, something like that.
Big target, but he did a good job of spreading the ball around against West Virginia.
I think that's the biggest question for me. I think Tennessee, I'm not looking into the pass rush. Alabama didn't have a single sack against Utah State, so I'm not looking into the pass rush just yet. I mean, it is something to keep an eye on, but I think Tennessee's going to do fine in that regard. If West Virginia can, rack up 5 sacks, I'm pretty confident Tennessee's going to get to Slovis at least 3 times. And the only worry for me is our secondary. Can they hold up? Can they make some plays? I need more of Kamal Hadden. I'm sorry. Somebody's got to get out. Kamal Hadden should be on the field more. And if somebody else can't get it done, I'm sorry, but Warren Burrell's getting targeted. Even if, the coaches can go on and say that, he's doing all we ask and this and that. Well, somebody's seeing something on the opposite side because he got targeted more than anybody last week. Pitt's going to come in and do the same thing. They only had 16 completions against West Virginia, and he threw for 300 yards.
Yeah, if you're Pitt and especially Tennessee gets the ball first, you're playing behind in the ball game. I mean, your thought's going to be to keep that defense on the field early and just eat away. And so that's going to require Kamal Hadden, Warren Burrell to play up in the wide receiver's face in that press man type look, whether it's man or not. You're going to have to play up. And can they do it well is a big question because you haven't seen it yet. And then the pass rush, I'm with you. And I feel better about a lot of what Kenny Pickett was able to do well. I would love to see his stats for completed passes out of the pocket. He did a really good job of getting out of the pocket, getting his eyes downfield and completing passes. Well, Tennessee, you weren't playing your 2 best edge rushers on the field at the same time. You are this year. So is there less leakage to one side? I'm kind of interested to see. I think Tennessee's I think the defense, I don't know how much better. That's a question. But I think the defense is better this year than they were last year.
Yeah, I agree. I got to see it. I got to see a huge, improvement, I think, from even last week. I don't think you should be sad. And I know Tennessee was very vanilla and didn't show a lot, but I'm expecting a huge game this week.
You have to.
Because, like you said, there's not a Jordan Addison on this team. I mean,
and Tasir Mack actually led Pitt, and he's gone as well. He's graduated or went to the NFL. I don't know how old he was, but he's gone.
Yeah. So yeah, they don't return. The Gerard Means, I think he goes by Bub Means, was once at Tennessee, and now he had a couple catches the other night. He's a Pitt wide receiver as well. So kind of familiar face in there. I think it's awesome that this is a top 25 matchup. Johnny Majors Classic, top 25 matchup on the road. I'm just feeling good. I feel like the on the road thing is something that you worry about when you have a bunch of young guys, but we don't. Every starter is at least a 3-year guy in this program. So, or at least a 3-year guy in college football, not exactly in this program, but most are.
Right.
So,
yeah, and I think the biggest thing for me from last year is you had a ton of questions about Joe Milton coming into this game. Not a great showing against Bowling Green. At that point, nothing super alarming other than you had some questions about his control, which you still have, but he's not your starter anymore. The Hendon Hooker questions are kind of out. Like, what else can you ask about the guy? Like, he's shown you who he is. He's shown himself as a top SEC quarterback. I plan for Hendon Hooker to have an exceptional game on Saturday. I don't know how anyone else could say otherwise. And I think it benefits them even more that Tennessee seems to be even more confident in their run game than they were last year.
Yeah. I think on paper, Tennessee's a better team than Pittsburgh. I really do. And I know they expect big things out of Slovis, but I don't think he's Kenny Pickett.
No, and I actually read an article today that said he might be better than Kenny Pickett, which I thought was very interesting.
Who wrote that article?
I can't remember who it was. It was I think it was
their salary is.
I think it was a preseason preview. I don't think it was at least this week kind of deal. Oh, I mean, it had to be a Pitt writer. I don't remember who I read it from, but it had to be a Pitt writer, right? You lose essentially a guy that was in the Heisman talks for a lot of the season and an ACC champion, and you expect a transfer to come in and just be better than him. That got to be a Pitt writer.
Yeah, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. Whatever. But yeah, also another kind of thing going back to last year is the tight ends. Weren't really utilized a ton last week. Hopefully they get into a groove this week. Last year they had 9 Fant and Warren combined for 9 catches over 100 yards. So that could be a big key for Tennessee, especially in the red zone.
Yeah, and I think too that's both sides of the ball. I think with a great defense in Pitt, you're talking about a team that's going to make you have to capitalize in the red zone. I think they're going to limit a lot of Tennessee's big plays. They know they have to, and they're going to do their best to do that. So do you see a 40, 50-yard touchdown pass? Maybe, but I think a lot of those plays are going to be limited, and so it's going to be about how successful are you in the red zone. I think flip side of that, Tennessee's defense is classically bend, don't break. And so Pitt's going to get a lot of red zone opportunities. So I think this game probably comes down to who is better in the red zone.
Yeah.
I was actually watching last week.
I need our defense to be better.
For sure.
I'm getting tired of the bend, don't break, the Big 12 kind of style of plays kind of.
Here's my thing.
My skin.
If you can bend and not break, great. But if all you do is bend, and then finally snap, it's not good. You're on the field for a long time and you're still allowing points. So the bend, don't break mentality is okay if you truly bend, don't break. So right. I'm okay with that if that's your mantra, but you can't be the other way around. I also heard, I can't remember what year highlight tape I was watching last week, that they called the red zone the orange zone. I know some people call it the green zone. It's money zone. Tennessee, I guess, at one point under Philip Fulmer called it the orange zone. So I kind of like that. Go score, Big Orange, baby.
I thought you were about to say Butch Jones came up with that, and I was like,
he probably ran it out there like he did. He probably saw it somewhere in the facility and floated that one out there as well. So I love that people think he started brick by brick, like that hadn't always been a thing in football.
Well, Butch Jones is looking like I don't know what the odds are on the next LSU head coach, but it could be in the works there.
He didn't get hired at Notre Dame. I think he's safe.
Well, that was because Freeman was there.
Fair. Fair, sure, but I thought he was a candidate for sure.
Well, the greatest thing about that whole game is the only coach that followed Brian Kelly was a special teams coach.
Yeah, yikes. Yikes.
But kind of going back to the Pitt game, does this not kind of, if you win this game, 9-3 is sitting there in front of you?
Yeah, I think truly this is a game where it's take care of business. And I think it's going to be so many games. Take care of business this game. Then you're talking about take care of business Florida game. You're talking about take care of business LSU game. Because I think no matter how much we can laugh at LSU, no matter what we thought of Florida, we're going to find out more this week. I think it's still a toss-up in that game like it is this game. I think truly it's a 50-50 split. I think Tennessee is a better team on paper, but you haven't seen Tennessee really. Who has Tennessee beat? We say Kentucky, but I feel like we were saying they were a better team on paper last year too. So who have they really beat that they really shouldn't have yet under Josh Heupel? And I know they're favored in this game, but a lot of people, because of last year's game, have Pitt as Tennessee going up to Heinz Field, whatever you want to call it, and losing. And so I think this is a game that maybe Vegas has you favored in, but you turn some heads if you go beat Pitt. And maybe some of those toss-up games down the stretch come a little bit easier.
Yeah, I agree.
I love the 50-50 games. I'd love it to be 50-50 with Bama and Georgia, but let's just win the 50-50 ones we got now.
Mental health, my blood pressure, but yeah, it is exciting. I just want to win those. I just want to win some of those games. Last year, like you mentioned, you didn't.
Kentucky's probably the only one, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably the only one.
And you can argue because of the season they had, it's a game Tennessee shouldn't have won. But I think most people knew Tennessee was a better team.
Oh, yeah, it's just Tennessee, Kentucky.
They finally relinquished the checkerboards. Will they do it in the football team?
Dude, I love that. Cease and desist. That's awesome.
That was a great tweet.
Retweeted that.
Mm-hmm. Basketball Social's undefeated.
Yeah, Man, I'm so excited for this game. It really sucks that we played on Thursday. We have to wait 9 days until the next game. But, yeah, I think that
it was kind of nice, though. We got to just enjoy our Saturday. We got to be mad about games we bet on, but we just got to enjoy our Saturday. We got to go watch the eventual MVP score 2 goals. Like, it was a good weekend. You
were pretty mad on Saturday.
Just about those 2 games and then noon slate. Yeah.
Right. And you should have been.
Dude, they were terrible beats. They were awful beats. They were bad.
You should have been.
Absolutely. And yeah, so this Saturday, it's like that's the thing is that so that's the Haney. We're gonna call him Haney. I know it's pronounced Haney, but Haney gets me back with 2 goals, anytime goal scorer win.
Cash.
But also just to see Nashville win, that was nice. Matthew McConaughey, you suck. Then tomorrow, Saturday, if Tennessee wins, I don't care about the bad beats. So just go win. Save my heart, please. And
it makes that Florida matchup. I know we're not trying to look ahead to Florida, but
I'll look past Akron gladly.
Yeah, but if you go and beat Pitt, it sets up, if Florida beats Kentucky this week, top 15 matchup.
I think if Florida loses to Kentucky, it's still, easy, probably top 20 matchup, and it's going to be very exciting. What's Florida right now?
12.
I was about to say they're high. Yeah, it's probably a top 20 matchup.
Which is like, if Tennessee beats Utah, are we 12th?
Right. That's a big jump for beating Utah, and I get they played a Power 5 team. Like, I understand that side of it. It's just a huge jump. But I think too, I kind of like, a lot of people mentioned how the AP doesn't correct itself usually to week 3. I'm okay with calling everything up to week 3, kind of a toss-up, but I think you should, like, NC State shouldn't be in the top 25 after last week.
Yeah, and all AP poll over the coaches poll.
Yeah, so I'm okay
until the AP poll proves to me otherwise.
Right. So, right. I'm okay with the Florida jump just because I'm okay with the wild corrections. Like, Tennessee should see a huge jump this week if they win. So as long as you get that, I'm okay with it. Week 3 should all be about crazy jumps, in my opinion. Up until week 3, excuse me. Yeah, so this is going to be a great matchup. I really feel good about Tennessee's chances. That would be a huge way to kind of kick off, like you mentioned. I just won't call Ball State a step towards 9-3. Beating Pitt would be a step towards 9-3, a step towards a great season. On the road against an ACC team.
It's a revenge game.
It is a revenge game against the most recent ACC champion, the reigning ACC champion. This is a good matchup, man. I mean, this is everything you want right now in college football as a Tennessee fan.
And is Pitt the only thing the ACC has going for it, maybe besides Clemson a little bit?
Yeah, I think the boat is still very much out on Clemson. Like, you're still – because they listen, as bad as they looked in the first half, they kind of put everything – at least they quieted the booze a little bit in the second half. They kind of –
because North Carolina, garbage. NC State, garbage. Florida State needed LSU to just give the game to them.
Which I will say – lose. Yeah, Florida State did look better. I'll give them that. I don't know how good they look, but better.
Right.
I think you could still say Miami is, and like, until they prove otherwise, they're still very much up there. But yeah, I mean, right now it's definitely Pitt. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd like to put that to bed.
I would like to beat Pitt and then go on to win the ACC. I would love nothing more than that.
That makes us look good.
Exactly. I would love it.
But at the end, we better be ranked ahead of them.
I'd be okay with it's kind of like Alabama. I'd be okay with Tennessee being the only loss. I'd be totally okay with that. I mean, I'd rather see them suck, but I'd be okay with it.
It doesn't matter. We're going 15-0. So
15. Hey, can't go 15-0 till you go 2-0.
Exactly. That's what we're saying this week. Let's go. You want to go predictions real quick? You got a score prediction for me?
Let me ask you this before I make mine. Mine is I've got the overhitting. Do you have the overhitting?
I'm not touching it.
But in your score prediction, I guess.
Oh,
what's
yeah.
All right. What's your score prediction?
Offense. 45-31. So, yeah, I got the overhitting. Yes.
Okay. You got Vols covering easy.
Yeah.
So I hope you got the Vols on Monday, Tuesday before it went out there. I've got them 38-34. I think it is an offensive battle, but I think like I mentioned, I think both teams will probably struggle in the red zone.
Okay.
I don't think it'll be a very clean game in the red
zone. I think Pitt struggles in the red zone. I think Tennessee's struggling in the red zone this week.
I think if Tennessee doesn't struggle in the red zone, that's a great sign for the rest of the season.
Agreed.
But if we're just being honest about last year, our conversion rate wasn't incredible.
Yeah, another thing, you don't want to rely on field goals in this game.
No,
like you're mentioning getting struggling in the red zone. Field goals aren't going to win you this game.
When I say be good in the red zone, I'm talking LSU 2019 going 100% in the red zone for touchdowns. That's what I mean, being good in the red zone. Field goals are good, but they don't win you ball games.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So let's not get.
So what was your 34-31?
38-34. So over hits was 66, right?
Yes.
Okay, so over hits were good. Tennessee covers if you got it early enough. Not now, so don't place that bet if you're thinking about it. I'm not betting on Vols. Let's just put that out there. But I think if you did get your bet in early, like I would have, because that line was attractive, then you're good.
Okay, I like it. Any kind of other predictions for the game? Also, did you see the ticket allotment thing?
Yeah, such bullcrap, dude. I just don't understand how you sign a contract with them, because you should be allotting the same type of tickets. You see it with Texas and Alabama, and Texas is going to have a rude awakening when they come to the SEC as far as bands being in the lower bowl, fans being in the lower bowl, having actual away sections. But Tennessee, I'm good. I'm happy to show the Southern hospitality, but I'm also to show, listen, I grew up in the South. I know how spiteful we are too. I'm also good with being spiteful as hell. And if they aren't willing to sign a contract that says you knew what Pitt's rules were before you agreed to play them. Like, that's not a secret. So if they're not willing to sign a contract saying you're going to get this X amount of tickets in the lower bowl, then you're getting your tickets all in the upper section too. It's that simple.
Yeah, and if the roles were reversed, both those programs kind of have a, coming in top 25 matchup. We don't need to allot you anything to fill that stadium up.
No.
So, yeah, just kind of crappy on their part, but hopefully. I don't know if we use bulletin more material, but it's something that maybe we can throw back in their face. We beat them.
It's something that'll certainly piss off fans. Not really. Don't think the players will have a care in the world about it.
But also, it is a tiny. It's an NFL stadium. It's not like it's massive or anything.
What is it there? 70, 80,000?
I think it's 60.
Is this just 60?
Yeah, it's.
Are the Titans just 60? Because it's a lot like the Titans.
Yeah, there's not a lot. I think maybe 70 might be the biggest, but yeah, there's not a ton.
Really.
Up there,
MetLife. I feel like MetLife's humongous.
SoFi might be. I don't know what that
SoFi,
is.
Surely, I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, not a lot are over that 70 mark.
Okay.
A couple of predictions I have. Jabari Small is going on over 100 yards. Market if you got, college props and whatever, random, offshore bookie you got. Mark that one. I think Brew McCoy gets his first touchdown as a ball.
Okay.
You gonna play him up? I think they'll shade somebody over Tillman. You got to, right? You don't play press man and just expect your guy to be on an island with one of the best receivers in the SEC.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like the Brew one. My kind of what I was leaning was I think Jalen Hyatt has a good game. I don't want to give you yards. I think he went for 28 last week. Excuse me. I think he's looking more in the 50 range. Tennessee really likes the screen game. They liked it against Pitt. I believe it was Jimmy Holiday, right, that had the 40-yard screen touchdown against Pitt last year.
Callaway.
It was Callaway. You've got the guy's going to correct me on that one too. What a scumbag. Yeah, but I think Tennessee likes try to use their speed, especially at the line of scrimmage. So I think it's going to set up nicely. You mentioned shading towards Cedric Tillman. I think they'll do their best to take away Brew McCoy too. It's going to be hard to take away two guys.
Pick your poison.
can't take away 3. I think Jalen Hyatt's due for a 50-ish yard game and a tutty.
I like that. Yeah. I think either one of those guys have to have a big game for Tennessee.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also have we get I mentioned this earlier, we get to Keaton Slovis at least 3 times. At least. And Byron Young's one of them.
What I really like, and I think seeing the defensive backs and how they play, and Tennessee played a lot of they played off a lot last year. I'm not convinced Saturday's going to be any different. I think if anything, you just see, I hope 3 times. I think you're going to see a lot of pressure in his face though, at the bare minimum. What was it? 10 QB hurries last Thursday. I think it's going to be up there again. It's going to be a high point.
And I like that. I didn't love that we just weren't bringing pressure, and like we weren't blitzing. Obviously,
right.
Vanilla. You don't want to show anything. We're also playing off. I'm just like that doesn't. That's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, and our linebackers aren't. I thought Aaron Beasley played a lot better. I really like what Jeremy Banks brings to the defense, but they're not great in pass coverage. That's not what they're known
and they're
for.
going to get tested this week.
Right.
So this is a big game for the middle of the field too, and that linebacker position, safety position.
I really wish our defense would kind of take on the aggressive mantra, because I think I'm okay with more points if you are trying to get the ball, if you are trying to get to the quarterback. I don't, like you said, I don't love the kind of Big 12 mentality of try to keep everything in front of you and still get burnt. If you're getting burnt trying to get the ball back, if you're burnt trying to make plays and you've got the offense you've got, I feel totally different, I think.
Yeah, I don't love trying to like let it play out, maybe get an incompletion on first down, maybe a stop on second down, and then you're aggressive on third down. I don't love you just wait until third down to be aggressive. And that I feel like we kind of did that some last year. And I get it. You're trying to get, a break, but
I just think
let's just keep scoring.
Oh, I think your offense just gives
we can rest in the fourth quarter when we're up by 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think your offense allows you to just, like you said, be so aggressive. Be aggressive.
Yeah.
Be aggressive. Be aggressive.
You get beat, we got it. It's fine. The water's fine.
What is this? Okay. I was like, it was originally telling me the Bills was blacked out in my area right now. I was like, what? Thursday Night Football blacked out? This is Buffalo's already up 7-0. 7-0, 3 minutes left.
Cash that bet,
just
baby.
got a first down. Did you take 6.5 first quarter?
No, I had DraftKings had a boost if you pick money line and they go up by 7 at any point that you win.
I saw that, yeah.
So cash.
Nice. Good pick.
You want to get into some SEC? I know we didn't get to talk a lot about the SEC last week. Just not a whole lot. We kind of talked about the game for a long time and just kind of got away from us. But we didn't get to the Brian Kelly meltdown. I just want to get to that real quick. I think
it hadn't happened yet when we talked about it.
That's true, yeah, because it
hadn't happened yet.
Sunday.
It was Sunday night. It was first quarter when we were wrapping up. So,
yeah, well, we just kind of like it was. When did we record on Sunday?
Sunday at 8, and the game started at 7:30 or 8:30. Or
yeah, we had a long weekend and we're exhausted. I don't know if you could tell by our voices, we just weren't all there. But Kentucky dealing with some suspensions. I don't know how long. Apparently they're starting a rando at running back this week. That'll be interesting to see against Florida. Florida jumping to number 12 after beating a Pac-12 team is just insane to me.
Mm-hmm.
Vanderbilt is not good, so Hawaii's even worse than we thought.
Yeah, dude, Hawaii's bad. I think they're down like a 30-point favorite this week to is it Michigan?
It's 50.
50? Is it Michigan?
Yeah.
Whew. They're bad.
I mean, Vanderbilt beat them by 53, so
and
Michigan might score 100.
Yeah, and Michigan's starting a new quarterback this week, guys.
Yeah, and Michigan's not good either. They might be good.
Yeah.
I'm going to say they're not.
Hold on real quick before we keep going. I didn't see this. Apparently Greg McElroy talked about our pass rush being big concern because we had 0 sacks last week. Byron Young didn't play against Pitt last year, right?
No.
Young didn't play last year. So it was your best pass rusher was Tyler Barron, probably. I mean, disagree?
Yeah. No.
Tennessee had 2 sacks on Kenny Pickett, who's you can't say Keaton Slovis is better than Kenny Pickett right now. So I didn't see that. Greg McElroy was an idiot. We know Greg McElroy was an idiot.
He said it was a issue for this week. Like he was talking about it last week.
He's a concern against Pitt because we had 0 sacks last week. You just didn't watch any of the game, which is fine. If
Alabama had 0 sacks against Utah State.
If you didn't watch
they have the best pass rusher in all of football.
Right. If you didn't watch it, that's totally fine.
NFL probably too.
Just don't make absurd. Apparently, Georgia had 0 sacks last week, which I would not have guessed that. We did get to watch some of that game. I would not have guessed that.
I can't wait to get to the college football playoff because if you really think there should be 12 teams and you watch Oregon this week, that should tell you all you need to know.
Yeah.
And I know there's like pros and cons to all of it, but it just seems dumb.
I just don't think the state of college football is ready for it. I think there's a better way to do that many teams. I don't think it's
the only good thing about it is the home games.
Yeah, I think as long as you're playing Power 5 teams are playing FCS teams and Group of 5 teams in their regular season, I think it's not a good idea to have a playoff. I think if you're just talking Power 5 teams, so you have upwards of 50 teams all playing each other like the NFL, I think a 12-team playoff is great. But the current format isn't set up for it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just don't know what's been so wrong about the 4 teams that we already have.
Yeah, and I would almost say you should have just been doing the BCS this entire time.
Right, yeah. Except for Ohio State.
I think so, yeah.
It's like the only one that's been that 4 seed that's done anything.
Yeah, like I said, I think Alabama still runs the table most years, but I think it gets a lot more interesting if they're playing a 12-team Power 5 schedule.
I mean, what's going to happen when the SEC has 5 teams in that 12?
They're either going to expand it more because they're mad, or who knows what they'll do, man. They haven't thought that far ahead. They're not smart.
Yeah, I just don't.
They're not.
But Brian Kelly, the meltdown, it was, kind of blaming. It was losing number 1 to Florida State in New Orleans.
Home game. It's a home game.
Yeah, for sure. And then it was pretty much by special teams. That was pretty much the only reason why they lost. And then the starters are taking down, Keyshawn Boutte taking down his LSU stuff on his social media. And then you have the media member on Monday, which we can talk about that in a second. But also his press conference after the game was pretty much blaming the punt returner, which it was his fault.
But you roll him out there for a second one after?
Yeah, that's on you. And then he went back and said, it's our fault for putting him out there because he sucked. Which I'm just like, what?
He's an idiot. I mean, that playing a good football coach, but he's a douchebag.
Yeah, the family thing, that they should have just cashed out right there. Cut our losses. Let's get somebody else in here. I mean, people are done already with him.
Yeah, and winning fixes
and Coach
all.
O's just sitting there counting that $17.1 million.
Oh, he's loving life right now, dude. And listen about the press conference on Tuesday, I guess was when it happened. Listen, if you're gonna fire off that joke. It's probably funny, but when you get hit back with the joke, you just got to take it. You can't be like, nope, we're done joking now. That's my favorite part. People are like, that's so unprofessional of her. No. Professionalism stopped when he berated a journalist for being late to his press conference.
Capital.
That's when professionalism stopped. She made a joke back at him, and he couldn't take it. Brother, you ain't gonna last long if this is how you're doing your like I said, you can never win games in the press conference. You can never win jobs in the press conference. You sure as hell can lose them though.
Oh yeah, and also like everybody in that room was thinking the same thing, but she was the only one that had balls to say it.
That's who he was talking to. He was saying, "Let's start with the journalist that's late to this thing."
Oh, I know, but I'm
her.
saying,
Yeah.
I'm saying no one would have said it besides probably her.
Yeah, for sure. And I love that she, like I said, professional.
I wouldn't have said it. I would have been scared to death to say that.
I like to.
You think she's allowed in any other?
Dude, she said on TikTok they have a good relationship, so we'll find out how
shit.
We'll find out how soft he is. Well, truly, it's just a joke, brother. Just take it and go.
Well, here's
the game.
It's so big now that I don't think you can not let her in because of what
it's too obvious now.
That. Yeah.
I could see it though. I mean, I can see it for sure.
Also, Savage. That's awesome.
Dude, it was incredible. I love the
can we stop putting coaches already make enough money. Let's stop making them a god. Like we can't say anything bad about them.
Right. Especially people whose job it is to call you on your BS.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Yeah, as soon as he did the family thing, everybody knew that he's full of shit.
I love it.
So call it like you see it. I love it. We need more journalists like that. I need Eric Kane in the next one. If Josh Heupel ever did that, Eric Kane needs to speak up and say something.
Eric Kane, you were on the clock.
But I don't think Josh Heupel is an ass, as far as I know to this point.
Right, and I hope.
I think Jeremy Pruitt and Butch Jones are the two guys that would act like Brian Kelly did.
Yeah, and for all Lane Kiffin's faults, I think he would have rolled with that joke. I think he would have been like, you got me. Yeah. All right. I'll win next time. So, yeah, it's just a bad move. I'm rooting for him to fail because as much as I think he is a good football coach, I think he's one of those coaches that he's never going to win the big one. So,
yeah, I'm blaming the journalists for keeping Butch Jones and Jeremy Pruitt as long as they were here. They didn't call them out.
I don't know how much you know about football, Blake, but he tried. The guy we didn't like tried.
Blake should have called his ass out for that.
Dude, they were on him about it. It was good, but yeah, not as much as if you won would be on Tom. That was awesome. That was awesome. I don't know what other SEC games you're wanting to kind of go back to, or if you want to look forward to this week.
That was kind of all. Georgia is. I thought they'd fall off a little bit, but I don't know.
Can we also talk about Georgia fans being like, everyone says our offense is bad. No one has ever said that Georgia's offense is bad. That has never come out of any sane person's mouth. The question has always been about your quarterback. That's all. And it's fair. Yeah. And I'm still not – listen, Stetson Bennett looked better than he probably ever did last year. But I'm still not ready to crown Georgia king of college football until they go and play a better team and Stetson Bennett does that. Will they always have their run game? Will they always dominate the line of scrimmage? Absolutely. But can Stetson Bennett continue being the mailman? I mean, that's the question, and it's a fair question to ask.
They also beat a Pac-12 team, so I know the AP poll is going to make them probably the number one team in the country. Like they, jumped Florida up to 12th after beating an overrated Utah team. But yeah, I'm kind of. I think definitely they're a contender, 100%. I don't think.
Have you?
But I said that. Yeah, I said that before last week.
Georgia fans are morons. Sorry, all the Georgia fans that I like, but I'm sorry. But
Oregon, yikes!
It's never been a question about if your offense is good.
Is that your best?
Yeah, no, it's not. I mean, thankfully, it's not. USC is their best team, for sure.
Well, what does Georgia do to USC?
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that. I'm just saying, thankfully, it is not their best.
Well, I'm, looking at recruiting, Oregon had top 10 class after top 10 class under Cristobal, and Georgia just ragdolled them.
Yeah,
in 4 quarters.
I think maybe they would have. If they could go back, they'd pony up a lot more Nike money. And I know it may have been about going home for Cristobal, but I think you pony up, you give him an offer he can't refuse, kind of deal.
Yeah, I think I read where Kirby Smart said in his press conference that we just had better players. I'm like,
that's a story about Georgia, though. You normally do.
Well, and Dan Lanning's here now, so it's
Right.
like, I mean, I know I guess it's technically not his fault because he doesn't have a lot to do with the roster up to this point, but still, I mean, you kind of knew what Georgia had to begin with, and that's what you put on the field.
No, I agree. It wasn't a good showing for Oregon. Dude, I know there's not a ton of it. I'll tell you a game I'm excited for, and I think you have a lock here. I'm not ready to lock it yet, but I'm excited for Arkansas South Carolina matchup. Arkansas, I think they're not going to be a top SEC team. They get kind of unfortunate if they're in the East. Maybe have a chance. What I do like about them is I think they're going to wreak havoc. I think they're just going to be a team that no matter where they're at on your schedule, you're kind of circling that one like we better be ready for this week. South Carolina, especially after that showing last week, it is truly put up or shut up time. It's on the offensive line. I think we've said it all along. Spencer Rattler has the makings of a good quarterback, but how does South Carolina make him a good quarterback? I don't think it's possible. Well, you find out this week.
Agreed.
What do you? So did you lock that at 8.5? Do you like that?
I do like it. I just don't like. I don't really know how good Cincinnati was, and they only beat them by 7, so that's why I'm kind of worrisome about it.
I think I'm just staying away from it, for the SEC factor.
Yeah.
If this was like a Week 5 matchup and we had more to know, I think knowing what I know now and put it in the Week 5, I think I'd probably take Arkansas, but I'm hesitant.
Yeah.
Just being so early. Hey, listen, for not putting a good showing against Georgia State, at least they won. I will credit old Shane Beamer that one. At least they won. I just wouldn't have taken the same jab as him because your South Carolina team, I know you weren't coaching then, got the dog crap beat out of them by that same Tennessee team.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So dumb decision there. I'll tell you another one too. I think I'm excited about the Alabama game. I think it's hope. But I think there's a lot of interesting storylines here. You got Quinn Ewers starting. Heisman got.
I thought you were talking about Tennessee, Alabama.
No. Alabama, Texas this week. You have Quinn Ewers. You have the ticket allotment with the band that's created, some fan animosity. Obviously, that trends towards Alabama. You've got an assistant who just got done coaching under Nick Saban. Nick Saban is now 1-2 in his last matchups with former assistants. Texas is coming to the SEC. This is a road game for Alabama. They don't play true road Power 5 games outside the SEC often. Listen, I'm taking Alabama money line. Obviously, that's not a bet that you make because it's not worth the money. I just think that spread could be awfully big.
I think they beat them by 5 touchdowns.
I just don't think. Listen, I'm not telling anyone to stay away from it because I think my head tells me take spread. But my heart, when I think about college football, and I think about the insanity that we got to watch last weekend, my heart tells me this could be a lot closer game.
I think Texas could be able to score, but I just don't think you're going to stop Bryce Young in that offense from scoring.
No, like I said,
Gibbs,
my head certainly tells me Alabama.
Yeah, I think 3 touchdowns is, 21 points. I feel like that's. I think it
doable.
Should be more, maybe 28 points.
Well, didn't it? It got up pretty high at one point. I think it's come back down.
Yeah,
kind of like Tennessee.
Yeah, it was like 22, I think, at one point, but now it's down to like 20.5. So
yeah, and this is another interesting one that I think. I still think could be very uninteresting. I like the over in this game, and Bobby Pilgrim, don't apologize, brother. We will pick your comments up. He said App State A&M has his attention. I think App State has all the makings of an upset team. I don't think they do it against A&M, but I think they score, and that's why I love that over. That's my lock. Lock it in right now. 54.5. I don't know what it's at. I'd go up to 56. I like 54.5. A&M and App State. I don't think App State beats that A&M team, but I think there's a lot of points.
Okay, I like that.
I really do.
I'm staying away from that. Again, I just don't know enough about A&M. I know they didn't look great last week against Sam Houston, but just don't don't love either way right now. I mean, I think UNC is garbage.
I think UNC is garbage, and I think that App State gets points scored on them. I think they return the favor. That's why I like the over. I'm not touching the line.
Okay.
I'm not touching the line. It's 54.5 over. That's all I like.
Okay.
But I agree. I think this could be a fun game to watch if that's what you mean by tension, Bobby. If you're thinking App State upset, I don't like that one. But hey, Landon's kind of putting doubt in my head. He doesn't know A&M has. I kind of like that. I don't know if that's what you meant to do, but I kind of like that you're doing that.
So are we just going into our games that we like?
Well, I was just running through kind of the best college football games right now. So I just threw my locks out there because that was one of them.
Okay.
You do how you want to do it.
If Florida Kentucky plays, I think that should be a pretty good game. I feel like with what Kentucky's losing, I feel like Florida just wins that game. I think it probably is an ugly game.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, here's the thing: if we find out Anthony Richardson's for real, I think Florida runs away with it.
Yeah,
if we find out he's for real that game. But I'm with you. Kentucky what a time for suspensions, man.
Yeah, and then BYU Baylor is another top 25 matchup. I don't know
I'm going to take
about either one of those teams.
I think I'm going to take BYU to cover. I think I am. I took BYU in my pick'em.
It is in Provo.
I like it being in Provo. I think I'm going to take BYU to cover. That is not a lock. Not a lock, but I think I'm going to take it.
All right, we got Dilly Betts in here.
Dilly in here?
He's going to come in and give us his locks real quick, and I'll get to mine after he gets to his. Yo.
What's going on, boys?
Betts.
What's up, dude? So let's start this thing off. What is your absolute lock? Your number one? Let's go get it. Let's cash that. We already cashed the Buffalo boost today. So what we cash in the first thing this weekend?
I gotta go. My favorite bet of the week to cover 5.5, but I like it a little more if you juice it on FanDuel to have less money, plus 110.
So who is that again? UCF?
Can you hear me? Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. It's just a little delayed. I think he's got UCF minus 5.5. Is that right?
He's wanting to boost it. He's wanting to boost it. Did you get it to 3.5 or 4.5?
Oh, he wants to buy a point and go to 6.5.
And they win by a touchdown.
Okay.
It gets you to plus money.
Okay. Smart. All right. I just took my lock. I'll piggyback that real quick. I took that as minus 5.5, my lock over Louisville. Louisville's garbage, brother.
Yeah, they're not great. And Plumlee, the former Ole Miss transfer, is going to run all over Louisville's defense. So I really like UCF. That's one that I have in as well. Dylan, you got another one for us?
Go Duke and Northwestern under 57.5.
Under. I got it at 60. That thing's going down.
Down. But I still take it.
Cash.
I see it. I see them scoring like maybe 50 points.
Okay. I like that one. Yep, that's one of mine. Me and Dylan are kind of on the same wavelength.
Yeah, I thought Landon had the over, and I was like, nah. I've seen Duke looks terrible. Northwestern looks terrible. No, thank you.
If he
I didn't take it as a lock.
Put the over in the group chat, I would have laughed.
Yeah, I'm not putting no over on that. I am kind of going against the grain a little bit. This isn't a lock, but I love Wake Forest. Sam Hartman's back this week. Wake Forest, Vanderbilt over 66. I think it's at like 65.5 right now. So
I don't hate it. That's just so many points for Vanderbilt. I know they scored a lot against Hawaii, but that's just a lot of points for Vandy.
Wake Forest might score 60.
That's a fair point. Fair rebuttal.
I was
fair point.
Say them to cover over the over.
I kind of like that too.
Wake Forest cover.
Wake Forest cover. What's it at? 17 points.
It was like 13.5.
Yeah, it's
okay.
2 TDs. So
bad.
I think that's saddle.
Okay. Dylan, you got another one for us?
I'm gonna take that one.
Let's see. Let's go USC. I also really like them first half minus 6.5 is what I think I saw.
Okay.
These are fandom, but yeah, I would stick with the full game minus 8.5. I see them winning by.
Yeah, I like USC too. That's also one of mine.
Taylor, that's a lock.
8.5 against Stanford.
Yeah,
Stanford.
Take it. Signed, seal, delivered. Take it.
This is also going to blow up in our face, but I can't wait.
I did terrible week 1, so I can't do worse. I'm good. I can do whatever I want with this.
We really should just be listening to your calls last week. You went, 8-2? Killing it.
Oh, on his pick'em?
Yep.
I should. That's why I want to take BYU to cover, because I did kill my pick'em.
Okay.
But didn't take any money. The problem is that's just money line bets. Those are easy. It's the covers that kill you.
Right.
Yeah, and you got to have the covers to get those good odds.
I think that might actually be all that I have.
I've got one more. Dylan, do you have another lock?
I have Alabama. Alabama's covering against Texas.
Okay.
I like that. I like that. It's Bama. They're about to start the Heisman campaign, and so they really got to get off and running here with the big dub.
I just want it to be such a good game. I don't want to take it. Like, I agree, but my heart wants it to be a good game in Austin so bad. So
this is the game where Alabama can't wait for Arch Manning to be on campus.
Yeah. I'm staying away, but I like it. No, I agree with both of y'all. I do. I just don't want to.
Alabama's going to change the A in Austin to the Alabama A.
Okay. I was like, what? This is getting weird. Dylan, do you have one more?
I got for you guys is Central Michigan also to cover minus 4.5.
I love that.
Like it.
Yeah, I got that one too. I think South Alabama is 0-6 in their last 6 road games, and then Central Michigan the last 5 games are 5-0 against the spread. So lock that sucker in. I hate betting with the shark humper, but sometimes you got to do it.
The right bet and still lose. That's their thing of betting.
Yeah,
can't win.
That's true.
Them all.
It's just money. They'll print more.
Oh, that's what we do in gambling.
They've been printing.
They've had to print them out to give your same game parlays, Dylan. Getting stupid over there.
What can I say? Just trying to make the boys some money.
my last lock. All right, we're rolling. My last lock is a money line one. It's Iowa State. They can't lose to Iowa again. They can't. Iowa looked terrible. Matt Campbell's got to beat them eventually.
Is it at Ames or is it?
I believe it's in. I believe it's at Iowa State. I believe.
Ames, okay.
Yes.
I don't
let me double check
but I don't.
I think it's a trap. I think it's a trap.
It could be a trap. I saw a great tweet, and they're like, I cannot believe Iowa let the kids in that hospital watch that game last week. So maybe they give them something to watch this week.
It is in Iowa City, but it's not a night game. It's 4 p.m. It's not a night game, so we're good.
Those kids are up. They're watching it.
It's not a night game. I feel better. We're good. We're good. Take it. Money on. Lock it in. Easy money.
Roll with it.
Is that a lock or are you just putting it out there?
That's a lock. That's a lot. Sometimes you just got to
God.
believe, Landon.
You got balls, kid. I like it. All right. Well, that was fun.
Look, before Dylan gets off here, Dylan, I'm disappointed you're not wearing black. I got to imagine that household is mourning the passing of our Queen Elizabeth.
Rocking the Tennessee gear, so I only have so much black in my closet. It's honestly probably a few runs trying to be healthy. Hopefully,
I can't really wear black because I have dogs that shed, so it's just a recipe for disaster. So,
yes, understandable.
How delayed am I? You said Buffalo hit a field goal? I'm very delayed. I'm not on live.
It could certainly be.
No, I'm not live.
I'm rolling off my phone because it was about to die, but I wanted to get those locks as the fans. So
we appreciate it, man.
He's making a Twitter soon. Keep up.
Yep.
All right,
appreciate you, man.
Dylan, we'll see you later.
See you, brother.
Not this weekend. What a fun weekend in Nashville. Thanks for hosting, Dylan and Mandy. It was fun. Appreciate him hopping on here, giving us the locks.
Yeah, I lost my wedding ring, but they found it today, so we're good.
Seriously,
I actually bought another one.
Did you?
It was supposed to be here tomorrow from Amazon. It was $17, but
smart. Smart.
Yeah.
Make sure you get those locks in, especially now where the lines don't change too much before Saturday. I don't think they will, but especially that under. If it's going down, it ain't gonna go back up. So, Northwestern Duke game. I want to tail. I don't know yet. Any other college football games you kind of want to mention? No, I'm gonna be honest. I don't remember what we haven't mentioned. So, anything that stands out to you?
Nothing else really. I think that Houston Texas Tech game's kind of interesting to me. I don't know if I'm leaning toward anything, but
right. I don't know who to. That's the one I've struggled with and pick 'em. After Houston showing, makes me want to lean Tech, but I feel like that's a trap.
Oh, also going back to Central Michigan to give you kind of a reason to tell that one is they almost beat Oklahoma State last week. They did lose
after being down Alabama like 30.
Yeah, and South Alabama played Nichols, I think. They beat them like 34-0. But I'm riding high with the Chippewas. I thought that's such a cool name. I hate their colors, but that's a cool name.
I actually like their colors. I'm glad it's not widely used, but I do like them.
It's not McDonald's, but it's towing that line a little bit for me.
I just like that it's not a complete knockoff of Florida State. That's what I like.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that.
Hey, I will mention these games because.
Oh, did you see that this is a fail? Actually, this would be stupidity, but it pertains to Central Michigan, so I'll go ahead and say it. So the freshmen on campus, I guess, they sent out like a kind of a care package, and they gave them stickers to put on their keyboards on their laptop, and it was CMU.
Well, the CMU.
Sorry,
I want you to look at the order on your keyboard of how that would look.
Of how you would, how it would look. Yeah.
It's bad.
Oh my god.
I love it. I love it though. What a good, nice welcome to college.
Yeah, great gesture.
I do want to mention some after dark games. I'll be up until these games are over. Baylor BYU 10-15, Oregon State Fresno State 10-30. Oregon State's only -1. And after last week, I kind of want to take Oregon State. Not a lock, but I'm thinking about it. Just keep in the back of your head.
Okay.
And then 11 p.m., our boy Mike Leach is heading out.
Wait, who does Oregon State play again? Sorry.
Fresno.
Okay.
Which I might lean Fresno. I'm backing off. I just know that they're a Pac-12 upset team. They always have Pac-12 teams on their board, and they seem to always get one. But after Oregon State kind of proved me wrong against Boise, I kind of want to take Oregon State. And they're -1. If it was anywhere, it's pretty much a pick'em game. So,
okay, yeah, I like that.
And then Mississippi State, Mike Leach heading back to Pac-12 after dark. Arizona. It's gonna be a fun game to watch.
We couldn't get Mississippi State and Washington State to play a game,
right? They play Wisconsin this week. That's a pick'em game. I don't know who to take in that. I think I'm taking Wisconsin, but
That's a pick'em game?
Yeah.
What's the line?
No. Pick'em, college pick'em game. Sorry.
Oh,
college pick'em.
I thought you meant it was the actual pick'em game.
I was just talking about pick'em games. College pick'em game. So in the ESPN college pick'em. I don't think the line's
good God, I'll roll all over that.
Yeah, Wisconsin's 17.5. It just, Wisconsin. I would never take them to cover 17.5. I don't care who they're playing.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll score 17 points.
Correct. All right, let's get into some segments. All done with some football here. The stupidity. Is that your only stupidity? Do you have any more?
Yeah, I think I do have some more actually. I don't know if this is a stupidity, but it's something I definitely. It's not his fault, but it happened. So, what a time to get a cramp. So this guy does a race, I'm guessing like a marathon, and then tries to get on a knee and propose to his wife or his fiance or his girlfriend or whatever they were before the proposal. Well, this man just full on cramps out and just like can't even ask. Like he's in so much pain. And like people have to like go over there and like stretch him out so he could like ask her to marry him. So
what if she had said no after that?
She did end up saying yes. So, but maybe that helped him out. She just felt like she had to say yes at that point.
Maybe so. I kind of thought it was going to be a joke, but he had already started proposing. Have you seen like the basketball one when they're playing together and he fakes a cramp and he's actually proposing? I was like, where is this going? Turns out he actually had to get rolled out.
Yeah, I thought he was going to do the little twerking thing like you see on TikTok. Those people do, where they act like, or like Evan Russell does on second base.
Oh, did Evan Russell start that trend?
He might have. Yeah.
I like that one. Okay. My first one, I'm going back to unprofessional media. Pat Beverly was asked about what's it going to be like playing with LeBron and Anthony Davis. He said, what do you mean they're going to be playing with me? I made the playoffs last year. They didn't. There's a difference. I just love that response. I don't know how quick-witted it was because I just saw it, typed out, but I love the response.
I love the response too because he's dead serious.
Oh, for sure. And you kind of have to be, right?
I think there's a slide that's joking, but he's dead serious when he says it.
But don't you kind of have to be? Like, isn't that kind of part of being like that good? Like, you have to think that way?
Well, and he's just a psychopath anyway.
True.
So
true. Just a very unprofessional question, I think.
True. Yeah.
All about these capital J's, huh?
The capital J should have just been like, "Oh, did you win the playoffs?"
That would have been a good response. That would have been a great response. I've got that's it. That's all I've got. I was gonna go on me. I told Grit to shut his mouth about Zens, and then with 1 million followers liked his Eat Caleb post. That would hurt my soul.
That was awesome.
That was good. I loved it. I was cracking up. I was like, wait a minute though, I had your back. Get out of here. Let me get Zen.
I'm gonna go filming your coaches during their speech.
Who did that?
Heritage player.
I've missed that. I've not seen that.
How did you miss that?
You're gonna have to.
There's so many F-bombs. I cannot play it ever on this show.
All right, you'll have to send it to me. You'll have to send it to me.
Gotcha.
Thank you. There's something else in high school football I was about to mention since you said that. I can't remember. I'll move past it. All right, a little MII with MII. I've got one for you that's kind of a callback. It's just funny that I saw this one. This guy said that one of his friends, he has an argument that all food groups can be categorized, or all foods can be categorized into 4 groups: sandwich, salad, soup, or ravioli.
Or what?
Ravioli.
It's random.
It is. Couldn't you argue, though, an Uncrustable is just a PB&J ravioli? That was my first thought. Or isn't a calzone just a large ravioli?
I'm thinking of pizza. Where does pizza land?
I think that would go sandwich. Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
Or
maybe
could it be
that's
ravioli?
I think ravioli has to be a pocket. I don't know how that works. But you know the argument we made about pizza, you just fold it and eat it. The good kind of pizza that you have to fold to eat it. I think that's my argument there. I just wanted to make you think, you know?
I mean, it's. I think the only question I had was pizza. Everything else, yeah, sure.
So
I guess where's chicken? Is that thrown in a sandwich because you can put it on a sandwich?
I obviously, or a salad, or a soup.
True.
I obviously didn't think this one through. I thought it was funny that we've had that argument. So,
okay, yeah.
Here's my next one, kind of staying on college football. So, do you know the tribe in South America? Or not South America. Apparently, there are tribes in South America that haven't had contact with the.
I have no clue where
world.
this is going, but I'm so
okay.
excited.
The one I'm thinking of is in India. I think it's in the Indian Ocean. I believe it's that tribe that no one's been to their island.
Oh, and they just kill somebody.
Yeah,
who,
the Sentinelese, I think is their name. Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Why don't we just do that in Notre Dame? Why don't we refuse to contact them? They're on an island. They're independent. Just leave them be. Let them do their own thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think with Notre Dame is you got to make them join a conference for this 12-team playoff, or they should not be invited.
Yes, we treat them like Sentinelese. We will welcome them with open arms if they join the real world. But if they don't want to, then you stay disease free on your island. You're good. You stay out there.
Yeah.
We don't want you. You don't want us. Kind of deal.
Yeah, I agree with that. Also, they're never going to be they can never be a top 4 seed ever.
You know they will be.
They can't be a bye. But also, the buys don't get. I shouldn't word it like that. The people who get a bye, should not. Are not going to get a home playoff game.
Yeah, that kind of sucks, doesn't it? I think they should all be home until the championship, personally.
I agree.
I think the bowl games that they play in should be played every year as bowl games, which I know technically adds more bowl games, but I think it makes them special in their own thing, and you keep the playoff, which, again, I'm not for a 12-team playoff, so that kind of hurts that argument, but you get it.
Yeah, I agree.
This is going to make me hate bowl games, and that pisses me off because I love bowl games. I love the absurdity of bowl games. If there isn't a Bad Boys Mowers Bowl, what is there to live for?
The Mayo Bowl.
That's a good bowl. It's not. Did Duke drop it or no?
I know South Carolina. It was South Carolina and UNC was in it last year, and then Beamer. Dude, I hate Shane Beamer. He sucks. I mean, that man went insane for them going up a touchdown against Georgia State.
Yeah, and I see the argument about celebrating with your team, but can we at least just also own up to how absurd it looks to everyone else? I would be okay with that look of it.
Super cringe.
Yeah. For sure. My last one, and
is he I gotta know if he's a guy who gets overly excited about each Christmas present that he opens? Because if so, it would make sense. If not, he's a liar. He's a fraud.
Dude, nothing I hate more. I don't know how your families, Ravens family, all the families you go to do it at Christmas. I've sat at family Christmases, and I think it's really nice. and really kind of everybody, but I also think it's just kind of dumb where you have to open presents one by one. And what I hate the most about that is someone inevitably has to give a reason for why the gift is so good. Instead of just going, thank you so much. They have to be like, oh my God, I'll use this every day. And they won't. Thank you. You can't, it bothers me. It bothers me. Just say thank you and move on.
My mom makes us do that, and with every gift, we have to take a picture with the gift.
Dude, it drives me nuts.
You would hate my family Christmas, Caleb.
I've always been a mayhem person.
It's just so awkward, and I think that's why my parents do it. It's just so awkward.
Well, I wouldn't mind it if it was if you just went, Landon, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Like, this was very thoughtful. Thank you. But instead, everyone feels the need because all the eyes are on them. Like when you all watched me throw up last weekend and I didn't, it's that awkwardness of like, you have to say something. You have to be like, oh my God, thank you so much for my 80th tool set. I'll use this all the time. And you won't because you have 80 other tool sets. And it's very thoughtful. It's very kind. You don't know how many tool sets I have. But thank you. Like, it was a very nice gift. I appreciate it. You did, like, a lot of the Christmas gifts I give, I try to give gifts people like, people use. It doesn't work out because they already have it or they don't really want it or need it. But give me a thank you and move on. That's all I need.
Yeah. I think my hot take with Christmas is gift cards. I think they're the worst.
Depends. What are they to? What are they? Visa gift cards kind of suck, but I'll use them.
I mean, I'd rather have a Visa gift card than some, Freddy's.
Well, like, don't give me like, that's what I'm saying. Chick-fil-A gift card, rack them up. But don't give me like.
I just always forget about. I would just rather have I would rather have a $20 bill than a $20 gift card.
Yeah, no, that's that. I always feel like people think I'm doing drugs or something. They won't just give me cash. I'm like, oh, what? You don't trust me to spend this wisely? So yeah, it's I don't hate them,
but there is people that you need to do that for.
I don't disagree, but I mean, isn't cash at the end of the day? They could probably still buy with it. No, I
just another hurdle.
Yeah, like I said, I don't hate that style of Christmas, except for where I really hate it is I really hate I'm going to use this every day. This is exactly what I'll use it for. They bother me. I hate it.
And I love the people, if you hate it, just the receipts in the back.
Which makes it more awkward.
Yeah,
where's that? I got to look for the receipt immediately just to double check. I'm like, is it really? Because I'll get this receipt from you if not.
Right.
Yeah. No, thank you for everyone who ever gets me Christmas gifts because I do genuinely appreciate them. I just may not tell you how I use them.
Fair.
So thank you. I'll end on that because we're getting close to an hour and a half. I really want to watch this Buffalo Rams game. I know a lot of you all have been. Shane Beamer would go. Bobby said Shane would go nuts over other people's presents. He 100% would. He would go nuts. He's the reason people have to do it because he's like, Landon, I got you that one. Open that one up. Open that one. And you have to act all excited. Like you have to act like it's the greatest gift ever because Shane's breathing down your neck.
Yeah.
Open the red one. Open the red one.
Like, dude, it's a coffee maker. Like, I don't drink coffee. He's like, well, you could.
I'll do this every day. Thank you. Why else would I have gotten you a coffee maker except to use it every day?
Right.
Like, good golly, people. Good golly.
Yeah, it's somebody. I got a woman's shirt one time for Christmas, and
you wear it.
I'll never forget it because like the reasoning behind that they got the shirt, it was like, oh, I just picked up the first thing I saw in the store, and I'm like, so you picked up. It wasn't even like my size. It was a 2X women's low cut V-neck.
So was that a Christmas where you had to go around and say, thank you so much for this. I'll wear it all the time.
I didn't have to do that because immediately my wife was like, Grandma, this is a woman's shirt.
But that makes it, that's another reason when you're going around picking them up individually, the crappy gifts, that's awkward, man. And listen, it's just part of.
I was just gonna take it, but Raven had to bring it up,
but all eyes were on you, man. All eyes were on you.
Well, it kind of helped it a little bit because everybody knew, but no one's gonna say anything except for my wife had to open up her mouth, and so then everybody could laugh about it.
That's fair. I feel like just be awkward and then move on about it, and
yeah,
I'd rather
what?
just all the odds be on the kids, and then kind of adults just open them up away from them. Because kids, I've never seen a kid get a crappy gift, except for the one time that my dad got me, and I got spanked for it by my mom. He got me a Brett Favre helmet, which I did love, but I wanted a Tennessee helmet, and that made me sad. It was cool. I wore it all the time.
And we go about Christmas all the time. I'll never forget. This is the last thing I'll say. I'll never forget the one time like I could not stand the gift being under the tree anymore. Like I couldn't figure out what it was, and it just irked me so much that I opened it and I was like, I'm just gonna tape it back. I was probably 5 years old. Opened it up. It was the Sandlot movie. Didn't know anything about the Sandlot at that point.
That was an awesome gift, though.
Awesome gift, but I didn't know it at the time. I'm like, it's just a baseball movie. What? And then I tried to tape it back. I mean, obviously it looked like shit. So my parents immediately knew that I opened the gift.
Let me give one more pro tip about it. I wasn't good at opening because I knew I couldn't wrap them back. But the Christmas I found out, after I found out Santa wasn't real, I was still pretty young. Shout out Jonathan for making me watch my parents. So we had our gifts from Santa weren't wrapped. I found out not everybody does that. I don't know.
Yeah,
if you all wrap Santa gifts.
Yeah, they're just kind of there and out. Yeah,
they were always out, and they were like something to play. They were always put together. So the year after I found out Santa wasn't real, this is how young I was. We got one of those racetracks where it wasn't remote control, but like you press the button to race. You know what I'm talking about? Like the RC cars. And I played that for like we watched my dad set it up. He goes to bed. Me and Sam ran down and played it for like 3 hours.
And they didn't know?
Awesome. No, they had no idea. My dad didn't find out until I was like 15 or 16 years old, and I told him that story.
Jeez. Good for you. I was not that sneaky.
Yeah. I don't think we were either. I think my dad slept heavy. He was I think you guys can. You've seen me sleep. I think you can imagine. So it runs in the family.
All right, guys. This has been so much fun. Thanks for Dilly Betts for hopping on, giving us some locks.
Pitt, eat shit, Pitt, eat shit,
yeah.
Pitt, eat shit,
hey,
Pitt.
What? The opposite of what Keaton Slovis says. Pitt.
38-34. Let's go get this dub. Can't go 15-0 till you go 2-0.
2-0, baby. Can't wait. Guys, we're gonna do a Twitter space probably around noon on Saturday. So hop in with us. We'll talk about the game a little bit, shoot the crap, and just kind of get ready for game day. So hop in there. We'll try to do that for every away game if that's possible. Yeah, super excited. And we got some big the Akron game is going to be huge. So y'all got to come by the tailgate. We got some sponsorships coming up. So thanks for listening. Have a good Friday and a great Saturday. And we're bringing the boat in, and we out.